Kia ora everyone, excited to be here today to cover a set that I have been chasing for quite a few years now. This here is set 76017, Avengers Captain America vs. Hydra, which released in 2014. This set here released right when the LEGO Marvel superheroes line really started to kick into gear for me. 172 pieces in total with 3 minifigures. This here retailed for $20 USD before tax at release and $50 NZD, and how I miss those prices. Now today in the aftermarket space, this is currently listed at $63 NZD brand new, or apparently as low as $20 to $30 NZD in second-hand condition. That brand new price there is pretty much what you would expect to be paying today anyway. I got this second-hand a couple months ago around December for I think $30 NZD. It was bundled with another set that we'll be covering on the channel over the coming weeks. This was always one of my most desired sets that I regret missing out on at the time because it contains what I believe to be the best LEGO Captain America minifigure. He still has some issues for me personally, but we'll get into that later. It's also the only set and closest thing we have to a Captain America World War II set, so I love it for that reason even more. These early LEGO Marvel sets all claim to be based around the kids' television show Avengers Assemble, released on DisneyXD around the time of the first Avengers movie, so technically it's not a comics-based LEGO set. But I do love the cartoon-based LEGO sets anyway, because all of the cartoons are just using the same style and designs from the comics. This is what I prefer from the theme over the MCU focus releases. Enough chatter though, let's take a look at the set. So the easy stuff here first, this is Captain America and his bike. It's a pretty standard release for the superheroes line, and even a standard release for Captain America himself, who has appeared on bikes multiple times throughout the theme now. This one's the cool new at the time base mold for the bikes there. It looks like a 60s greaser bike. The most unique design element here is the use of the clip at the back there for storing his shield, and even then it's not that unique because most of the LEGO bikes do contain clips for storing things. His bike is outshined by the Hydra tank. I'm probably going to keep calling it a tank in this video, but it is missing the key feature of said vehicle, and probably intentionally so. The design I guess then is more based around the German 8-wheeler armored trucks of the war. It's a really cool action-based themed set, and it feels like the Marvel superheroes line's best homage to say LEGO Adventures or Indiana Jones. The wheels here look really menacing, and items like the exhaust pipes and weapons help to add that threatening appearance. We have some stickers all over this thing, starting with the Hydra logo there. This design has appeared in a couple of sets overall, but still I feel like Hydra based things are pretty rare to get in the superheroes line now. There's also the sticker of 65, I'm not too sure what that signifies if anything, but if anyone does, let me know. Some more Hydra stickers here with the soldier up top also. I'll remove the figures there to help show off the space on the inside of the vehicle. It feels strange to call this an interior when so much of it is exposed, but the inside of the vehicle has plenty of space, maybe a little bit too much actually. We have a steering wheel there and some form of dials on a monitor screen, but that piece is placed behind the wheel, so it's not that accessible for the driver. There's no seat for anyone here either, just a standing based vehicle, which I think is rather odd. The weapons are placed there at the back, which feature 2 levers for targeting the missiles there. You can spin that turret around, and there's some pretty cool lights at the back there too. Even the missile launchers can be adjusted accordingly, and we should all be quite familiar with how flick fire missiles work now. It's one of LEGO's longest running play features. A quick look at the lights there, which also feature an antenna for radio signals, or maybe like 1940s Bluetooth. The real show-stopping feature there are the wheels. Now every vehicle based like this has wheels, sure, but the gimmick here is that they feature working suspension. They can move and adjust themselves up and down according to the terrain to avoid uneven surfaces. I'll show you what happens in motion. Driving the vehicle over the box looks like this. It is one of the smoothest features I've seen on a LEGO based vehicle. It was the mainline selling feature for me because it may not be the only LEGO set with this type of a mechanic, but I don't know how many times I've seen it in a LEGO set before. It is very cool, but I wish LEGO would have made more superhero playsets that could provide the appropriate terrain that I'm wanting, rather than having to use things like the box there. I gush about the set and the vehicle, but the minifigures are just as exciting. All 3 of these guys here remained exclusive to this set, though they would all naturally have variants made of themselves to be released in other sets later down the line, which for me personally is the best kind of exclusive minifigure. And we start with Captain America, who has released with a total of 24 unique minifigures across the nearly 13 years that the line has existed. I've covered a fair few Captain America minifigures on this channel, but my complaints have always remained the same. LEGO have never really quite nailed the mask for Captain America in my opinion. When the mask has been printed on, you get some pretty poor face printing. When the mask is a molded piece, the lower jaw there looks really goofy because the piece being used was originally designed to have a lower jaw connector. It's just the Ultron head but repainted. So my printing issues do still stand with this guy, unfortunately. This was printed in 2014 though, so the printing here isn't nearly as pale as we would eventually come to see in, I think maybe 2018 or 19 was when the LEGO minifigures began releasing with ghost-like skin. My other issues there though I've talked about before with Cap is the dark coloring tone that LEGO tend to go with. They tend to focus more on the MCU releases, and every Captain America minifigure features dark blue with no nicer lighter tone that kind of matches a comics feeling. And finally, I have one in my collection. I don't think the camera picks it up well enough though, so I sound like a crazy person, but trust me, this is a lot closer to what I wanted. It's a bit more brighter than the previous figures I have in my collection. I learned from researching that this here was actually the second ever Captain America minifigure released in a playset, just 2 years after the first one released in the Avengers based movie. It looks like every DisneyXD set that featured Captain America featured him with colors brighter than the MCU counterpart, which was probably an easier way to keep them separate. The same shield piece was used for years, but it was retired around 2017 after the Civil War movie-based sets released. This is a pretty clean Captain America minifigure. He doesn't feature any of the weird MCU lines all over him, but he is lacking in the leg printing department, which has been a complaint for years now. I think only one, maybe two Captain Americas total release with leg printing. Leg printing has become pretty standard, so he's not perfect, but he is my personal favorite comic-like variant that I have in my collection. And next up is Red Skull, who I always thought was a rare-ish minifigure in the sense that he wouldn't be used often in sets, but that's just not really true. There's been 5 sets total with Red Skull, probably more incoming in the future too. He is still the priciest Red Skull figure in the aftermarket space though, valued at just under $14 NZD. He comes with the Cosmic Cube as an accessory, which is just here a translucent brick. He has some pretty cool printing there with that officer's uniform. LEGO can paint this however way they want, and I implore them to. What you have here is a 1940s German soldier as a minifigure. I don't want to risk saying that word for demonetization purposes, but you all know what I'm referring to. It's insane to see this in a Disney released LEGO set. There are no other accessories for him and no printing on the back of his head. Only one Red Skull figure was released with leg printing, so really that's the ideal version to get. And then finally we have my favorite minifigure from the set. This is the Hydra henchman, who kind of makes going to the war seem rather silly. He's got bright green torso printing with some yellow accents there. This figure was exclusive, though they did make an underwater diver variant some years later, but still, he's very different to this guy. The reason I love this figure and why I think he was so sought out by people at the time was because of his very close resemblance to being used as a stand-in for Bob, a defunct Hydra Soldier in the comics who betrays in order to help his best buddy Deadpool. The two are shown to be best friends despite no mainstream appearances or depictions yet in media. The face print here changes this a little bit though, since Bob is traditionally rather smiley, but this guy here is very angry. There are no accessories included for the soldier either, not even that alien conquest pistol that they like to use sometimes. The box set for the set shows a snowscape area to show off how cool that off-road vehicle is. We've got Captain America, Thor and Hulk in the corner there, and the Avengers Assemble logo down below. The back there shows us the main play features. The wheels have been highlighted there, as well as the spinning turret, flick fire missiles, and we've got a small image of Captain America punching the skull in the face. Because remember, it is always okay to punch these guys. The instructions for the set are the small $50 kind, and the theming on the inside features some comic yellow tones, which I just miss a lot from these amazing superhero sets from back in the day. The back of the booklet there shows the set complete, along with reminding us of the play features that we just looked at. We then have the inventory list, and the next side shows some advertisements. We've got one advertising the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game on this side, and then the other side is showing the Spider-Man sets on offer at the time. And 2 of these are pretty easy contenders for some of the worst of all time actually, so a really crazy wave to be advertising there. The winning kid sees us out, and that wraps up our set. It was a really cool find actually, and one that, like I said, I was chasing down for quite some time. The minifigures are all pretty much standouts, some issues here and there with the Captain America despite how much I still love that figure. The Hydra Soldier there is another standout inclusion, but it would have been really cool to get some extra accessories there. My only wish was that it would have been amazing to also have a playset that went alongside this set at release, so you could really show off the suspension wheels on the vehicle like I've been saying, but otherwise a really solid outing for Captain America there. If you enjoyed this look at an older LEGO Marvel Superheroes set, liking this video here and subscribing to the channel does help to support more videos like this one in the future. Thank you very much for watching everyone, ka kite anō, see you all next time.